All right, welcome back, guys. So in this video, we're just gonna go straight into configuration. And again, what we want to do is to set up these devices you see in the diagram right before us, to set them up for basic communication and also implement OSPF on these Juniper boxes. Now, in this case, we're running Juniper end to end. And for this particular video, we're going to be configuring interfaces, physical interfaces and loopback interfaces. And we're going to configure basic system parameters that Juniper boxes will require to be configured on new equipment, new devices, and that will be root authentication. So without further ado, guys, let's go into JUNOS 1 and configure the box. So right now we are in, I believe this is operational mode. I'm doing this tutorial right from memory. There's no reference material, so please forgive me in advance if I get anything wrong in terms of naming and stuff like that, right? It's, I'll try to make it as accurate as I can, but forgive me in advance if I misname something. Okay, so what we want to do first is to get a feel for what we're dealing with here. So let's do a show interfaces first, just to see what we got on the box, and it looks like we got about 8 interfaces here, all up and running, waiting to be configured. Doesn't look like we have any loop back interface configured. Let's do a show configuration. Ooh. Do a show configuration there. Doesn't look like we have anything configured. The system is telling us that we've got to configure root authentication. Looks like we know that already. It's just kind of stating the obvious here. So let's proceed to configure root authentication on this device. So how do we do that? We go into edit mode, and then we'll go into the system level hierarchy. In the edit mode, we're going to do edit system, and this is where we'll set the root authentication. So you would say set, and of course, like we normally would do in Cisco boxes, the help is readily available by doing the question mark. And you can see the options available to us under the system hierarchy. Well, we're interested in root authentication. This is it here. This is required for root login. So we can just do a little right click there, and it automatically, if I can pronounce now, shows on my configuration window there. Set root authentication. I believe what we want to set up is plain text password for this video, although there's options for SSH, DSA, SSH, RSA, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to use plain text password, and you hit enter, and it's going to show you a little prompt for the password. It's got to be more than 6 characters, equal to or more than 6 characters, or otherwise the operating system, what is JUNOS in this case, would not take that password. So I'm gonna make mine really simple but functional. I'm gonna type that again, and we'll just set up root authentication. So what else would we want to set up in the system, under the system configuration hierarchy? Well, I'd like to change the host name to reflect to be reflective of what we have in the diagram here. So it's JUNOS 1. So we're going to use the set command again. Set, I believe the command will be hostname, and notice I can do a command completion by touching the space key, or you can also use the tab key to do a command completion on Juniper platform. So set hostname, we're going to make this JUNOS 1. Enter. But now notice that the prompt here still shows root, as the host name, which is perfectly normal for Juniper operating systems, because we need now to be able to commit that command before it takes effect. So let's issue the, and it's literally called commit. So you issue that, and because of my emulators here, it's going to take a little longer than normal, but eventually it's going to be committed. And now you've got your root to user at JUNOS 1, which is the host name. So fantastic, we've just successfully configured the host name for this device. So what now do we want to configure? Now, I think the next thing we should do is configure this interface with 10.10.10.1, and this interface for 10.10.10.3, and also configure a loopback address of 1.1.1.1. So let's do that, guys. Let's exit out of the system mode and go into the interface. Edit interfaces, EM1, unit 0. And what we want to set the family INET address to 10.10.10.1/32. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the address is, in conformity with the network diagram here. 10.10.10.1, hit enter, and we can do a show to kind of get a feel for the candidate configuration. So family INET address 10.10.10.1/32. Whoa, that's wrong. It should not be /32. Interesting. It should be /31. So we gotta fix that, guys. We gotta fix that. So how do we fix that? You can just go here and the arrow on your keyboard, up arrow. Actually, you can keep tapping this, or you can do a Control E to take you back. Control E, I believe, takes you, Control A rather, takes you to the beginning of the line. Control E takes you to the, takes your cursor to the end of the line. So do a Control A. Oops. You can type. Let's get rid of set. Let's delete this. Let's do a show, I believe, compare to see what I'm going to be taking out of the configuration. I'm adding family INET, and the offensive line has been removed. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use my arrow key again to repeat the same command, and this time around put the right subnet mask address. Hit enter. Let's do a show and see the candidate configuration. There you go. That's what we want to see, a /31. Then we'll do a commit. It's going to take a little time, and just give it a little more time, and it's committed now. So if we do a show interfaces thirds, we should be able to see that the interface has been properly configured with the IP addresses. So let's do a run show interfaces thirds, and EM1 has been configured with the right IP address. Now, behind the scenes, I've already configured this box, rather this interface. So let's do a test to see if we can reach the other interface. So let's do, I believe it's a run ping. We can 10.10.10.2, I believe. Interesting. No route to host. I wonder why that is. So a little bit of troubleshooting here. 10.10.10.1. Well, I can reach my interface. What is the problem? Let's go to JUNOS 2 and take a look. Show interfaces thirds. EM1 is configured. It's up and up. 10.10.10.2. 10.10.10.2/31. Let's configure /31, and you will look at this one right here. 10.10.10.1/31. So what is the deal? Everything looks good. Run. Oh, not run. Show route. So run show route, guys. Run show route. So so everything looks good. Maybe what I suspect is that this version of JUNOS, I think it's version 10, does not support /31. Maybe that's the problem. So how about we go and modify, we'll make this /30. Let's go into the appropriate interface, edit interfaces, em1.0, and let's go back into the history and pull out the command we need. Yeah, that's the command with entered right there. Let's delete it. Let's do something basic. Let's use a /30 instead. Let's delete that and let's add, let's do a /30. /30, basic WAN interface. Let's do a show compare. Let's see what so we're taking this out, and that's why it's got the negative, and we're adding /30. Let's do the same thing. Whoa, let's commit, and let's do the same thing on JUNOS 2. That will be edit interfaces em1, I believe. Hopefully the command history shows us what was configured before. Set family. Actually, let's cancel out of that. We have to go into the family level. Edit interfaces em1.0. Let's bring out that config. Set family inet. So let's no, that's not it. That's for the loop back. 10.10.10.2. Let's delete this. We'll delete that. And we're gonna set, let's do a set here, and we're gonna change that to /30. How about that? Do a show compare to see what we're taking out, what we're leaving in. Yep, we're taking out /31, as you can see, and we're adding /30. Let's do a commit. Thinking about it. While that's the case, let's do run show interfaces ters /30 for em1. But we just copy the same command and run it on the other box. If I can find the command now. Copy, paste, and /30. Okay, let's try to issue our ping command. Let's get out of that mode. Run ping 10.10.10.2. Perfect. So that seemed to be the problem. Okay, so now that we've been able to we've been able to figure out what the problem is. Now we know that there's basic communication between this box here and this box here, at least as far as this interface is concerned. So let's go ahead the video is getting too long. Let's go ahead and configure the loopback on Junos 1, and then we'll pause the video and probably get another video going to configure interface between Junos 1 and Junos 3. So let's quickly configure the loopback address. So how do we do that? So we're gonna we're in edit mode. Let's do edit, interfaces, loopback 0, right? And let's set family. We're gonna set that as inet. The address will be 1.1.1.1/32. So show, see the candidate config. Yep, 1.1.1.1/32, and we are going to commit this change. Groovy. That's taking time. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, now it's done. Let's take a look at the show interface. First, let's take a look at what we've done so far. We configured this interface. We configured this IP address on EM1. We're able to configure the loopback address, which is going to play a critical role when we go into the OSPF configuration mode. It's going to play a critical role, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to configure interfaces on Junos 3 and on Junos 1, so that we can have connectivity, at least basic connectivity between E2 on Junos 1 and E2 on Junos 3. Already we have connectivity between E1 on Junos 1 and E1 on Junos 2. Before the next video, I'm going to change this to all /30s because apparently the version of the operating system I have running cannot support /31s. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the third video.